Welcome to The Edge of the Unknown, Stories of Growth and Grit, a podcast about resilience, transformation, and rediscovering yourself after life's most challenging moments. I'm Lisa, and I have walked the path of heartbreak, betrayal, and reinvention, and I am living every day as an adventure. Here, we embrace the messiness of growth, uncover the strength within, and learn to rewrite the stories we tell ourselves. Each episode will feature stories that will help you feel seen, find clarity, and reconnect with who you are. Let's get going. Well, hi, Laura. How are you today?
I am doing great, Lisa. Thanks for having me
Of
here.
course, I'm so excited for this interview. I have Laura Hulleman here. She is the creator of the Endotype Formula, and she's a pretty badass coach, if you ask me. And Laura, what I like to do at the beginning of these episodes is to get a little grounded. And so, what I'm going to invite us to do, along with the listeners, is just to kind of settle into our bodies, and then maybe take an extra deep breath in just to get grounded. Breathe all the way down into the belly and then breathe out. And then breathe in again through your nose and breathe out, releasing all the stuff that might be there today. And then one final breath in, and then a little extra sip at the top. And hold it, holding all the good stuff in, and then a nice, long, slow breath out, releasing all the worries, the stresses. And now we're all kind of loosey goosey. And then I also like to start at every episode a little bit of gratitude. So, my first question for you today, Laura, is what are three things that you're grateful for today?
Well, today, this is my last scheduled work part of the day. So I am grateful for an afternoon off. I'm definitely getting outside. So that makes my heart very happy. I am grateful in my world right now for a lot of the opportunities that are finding me, showing up, as well as the courage to be able to act on them and ask more questions. And I am very grateful right now for a new coaching program that I'm involved in. So I'm working with my coach, Sarah, on some internal family system coaching. And that is just really, I told somebody the other day, it's like clearing out the attic to make space for some new stuff. And within even just a few sessions, it really feels like there's new openings being created and capacity being created inside.
Oh my gosh, that's so interesting because IFS has been coming up a lot for me. I recently talked
Mm.
to a coach who does it, and then I've also recently found a new therapist, and he uses IFS. So the universe is really pointing me that I got some parts in me that need to be looked
There's
at
your third
and
time
loved.
nudge.
Yep,
Yep.
that is the nudge. So very cool. The universe does not lie, and there are no coincidences. So,
Yep.
well, good. I am so happy that things are going well for you, and you're doing some self care and having opportunities come. So that's awesome.
Yep.
So let's start out, and can you just share a little bit about yourself and your story? What is your story?
Sure. So I live in Wisconsin with my two young adult sons. I always say we have a treehouse out in the woods of Wisconsin. We live on a beautiful bluff, very near Devil's Lake State Park, if people are familiar with Wisconsin. It's a gorgeous area of Wisconsin. I live about 10 miles from exactly where I was born and have traveled around, have lived in different parts of the state at different points of my life. But every time I tried to get out, ugh, life. Life has kept me right here. And although Wisconsin is beautiful and I love my friends and family here, I have hated winter since I was a child. So, I do not intend to spend the rest of my life in that state of hate. Uh, and uh, and I'm looking to make some changes in this second half of life that
Yeah,
will
maybe you'll
allow
be
me
a
to live in a more
snowbird.
aligned. Last year my son, who's now 16, he was 15 at the time, he does virtual schooling. We did the digital nomad thing last year, and for about 2.5 months, we were down in the majority of the time down in Florida, moving around a few different locations. And I enjoyed it. I think he enjoyed it less, but that's okay. Like
But
he's
what does
like,
a 15-year-old really enjoy?
right, exactly. Um, and yeah, we'll see. We'll see what comes in the next year or two here. I have some ideas and nigglings and plans in the works, but nothing definitive as of yet.
Well, very cool. And
Oh, and the rest of my
yeah,
story, yes.
yeah,
So
that's great.
so yes, I'm a good little Gen Xer. I've done all the things. Like, right, at one point I counted up how many different jobs and types of jobs I had, and it's more than fits on two hands. And my boys were like, "You've done all those things?" Yes. I have been mostly self-employed my whole life. So out of my, all the years that I've been working, for about 25 or 26 of them have been self-employed or owning my own business. I've built 5 businesses to profitability. I've learned a lot of things about business, and the last 2 businesses have been in the coaching world. So, about 16 years ago, I became a fitness coach and started a small personal training studio where we focused on creating changes in the body, both through movement, but also through mindset, because nothing will become permanent unless the mind is changed along with.
And that was before
Um,
mindset was a buzzword.
right, right. And in the process of that, I had always loved personality typing and assessments. Um, I started to, I didn't know at the time, but I started to create what is now my personality typing assessment and the methodology that goes along behind it, the Endotype Formula. It was an idea that I think was ready for its time to be coming into the world, and it picked me, and I just kept saying yes. And it was saying yes through some really turbulent times. My marriage of 16 years was in the process of ending at that point. My gym was no longer a sustainable business. It was a profitable business, but not a sustainable business for me, because the times that my clients wanted to work out were also the times that my now then, right? When I started, they were not in school. By this point, they were school-age children. They needed me early mornings and evenings, which is the same time my clients wanted to work out. And I was feeling pretty burnt out. And so a lot of changes, a lot of just, my adrenals were a little bit blown at that point because I was trying to juggle too many things. I had built a business that helped a lot of people and where I connected at a heart level with so many people, but it was unsustainable for my energy level or for the next phase of my life. And so, in closing that down, ending the relationship, selling the house, moving out here to the treehouse in the woods, lots of things happened over the period of 2, 3 years. And since then, I've been working with the Endotype Formula and working with beautiful coaches to be able to help them really understand what it is they do and who they do it for, and really building a completely different life in this post. I mean, I guess I was about 40 at the time, so post 40, of and get to continue to ask, especially now as my children are becoming young men. It's like, okay, What do I want now? And that's been a really interesting exploration over the past year or two of really deciding what life will look like for just me as they go out and become more independent and exploring on their own.
So you've seen yourself reinvent yourself several times, it sounds like.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
And you're
for
in the
sure.
process of getting ready to reinvent
Mhm.
yourself again as a empty nester, maybe a snowbird, maybe a beach dweller, who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And really having to in each of those reinventions. So for me, connected to my endotype is a big craving or a big I call them cravings, like this energetic connection to identity. And so with each of the reinventions of life, and it's just normal. I mean, right? We talk about developmental phases when it comes to our children, like, oh, they're teething. It's a developmental phase. And like, oh, they're learning to walk. But they don't stop.
Right.
Right? Like 40 is a developmental phase. I'm now on the tail end of my 40s and entering the 50s, and I'm in this new and really cool developmental phases. And I think we forget to talk about it like that. And so it's like, oh my God, I'm gonna be an empty nester. No, I am gonna be footloose and fancy free. Thank you. Not that I don't love my kids and have enjoyed every minute with them, and there's not some sadness in letting go of that identity and all the benefits, but it's it's just the next phase. Yay. We get to
Yay.
grow into it.
Yeah. And so many of us as women, we mourn the loss of the phases. Like, and I always didn't understand, like, my friends who they took their kid to preschool and cried. I'm like, no, I'm
Hmm.
celebrating. This is a new phase. They graduated from high school and they cried. Um,
Hmm.
or any of the phases that your kids go through, it's a new phase for you. So instead of looking at the end or the morning of the
Hmm.
childhood or whatever, it's like, oh, now what's up, now what's next?
Yeah. I wonder, do you have any personal philosophy or understanding of why there's so much mourning?
You know what?
Have you ever wondered on that?
Well, I have, and I think that sometimes as women we hold on to these roles very tightly, very tightly.
Mm.
So I'm
Hmm.
a mom of a toddler, and then that toddler starts being independent and like, wait, now what? I mean, and it's everything, oh, I have school age children, and then now, oh my gosh, double digits. Oh, I'm gonna cry because I
Hmm.
no longer have little kids in the single digits. Um and I think that as women, because you never see dads being sad that their kid is like turning 10. It's, I think,
Correct.
as
Yep. It's
women,
less so for dads.
yeah,
There are
I'm
some
sure there
things for
are
men.
some, yeah,
Yeah, there are
but
some things for men in general, but no, I think you're exactly right. That's my same philosophy when it comes to I heard a talk a long time ago from an amazing coach, Teresa Romaine, and she talks about the difference, she talked at that point about the difference between the soul and your role.
ooh, I love that. And I love
And
Teresa too.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that combined along with like my understanding of these energetic cravings that each of us have when it comes to our endotypes. So for me, identity is a big one, significance a big one. It'll be different for different people. Some it's love, worthiness, being heard. When we start to try to fill those cravings in our life through our roles, right? My parent, who I am as a mom makes me significant. Look, I did it right.
Right.
But oh, wait, I'm not a mom.
And
Or oh,
correct.
wait, my kids are in their period of right failing forward. And maybe it doesn't look like I did it right anymore. it starts to eat away at the places that we're trying to fill our own emotional cravings or energetic cravings from. And it leaves
Exactly.
us in this state of like emptiness almost.
I can totally relate. So my son struggled after COVID with the school system, and
Hmm.
he ended up with a different path and did not graduate from high school. And that was a real struggle for me. It wasn't my journey, it was his. He was struggling with a lot of stuff, yet at the time, I took it as, oh my gosh, I am a mother of a high school dropout. But it wasn't about me. And you know what? And that affected my role with my relationship with my son.
Hmm.
So I've really come to realize, oh my gosh, it's not about me.
Hmm.
Um, but as your role, you're like, am I a failure as a mother? No. You know what? Some things happened in 2020 that affected the kids that were supposed to graduate in 2022. Um, but that's just one example. And then you meet women, and what's the first thing that a woman does when she introduces herself? Hi, I'm Lisa. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I'm a daughter. I'm a sister.
Yep.
But hey, I'm a badass hippie chick. Whatever it is, we're not usually
Yep.
introducing ourselves as our own person.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly.
So
That's lovely sentiment.
yeah, it's really interesting. So what has surprised you over the years about your own strength?
Um, I've always been pretty independently minded. In fact, I was a blast at all the slumber parties when all the other kids were playing truth or dare and daring each other to do really stupid and sometimes dangerous things. And I was like, if you do that, I'm gonna go to wake up your mom. Like this is not happening here.
Yeah.
I was a blast. I was a blast. Very popular. Um, but I didn't care. I mean, there was a part of me that longed for like that popularity and that, right, the cool kid kind of thing, because that's
Yeah,
again developmentally
I would
normal.
not have been able to stand up. I was the people pleaser from very young age. So
Yeah, and I was uber responsible.
got it.
And probably to the unhealthy extreme, which probably led into some of my relationship choices and the eventuality of my marriage. But so so I think the biggest part of what I've learned about strength is yes, responsibility for sure. But more importantly, it's about personal responsibility. So it's a lot about I get to make my own choices. I don't have a responsibility for your choices. So I can, and I feel nudged a lot of times to be able to, especially with the people that I'm close to and people that I feel in relationship with, to be able to go, hey, can I offer a perspective here? Like, can I tell you a thing that I see here? Right? Let me tell you a cautionary tale. Whatever it is, because then that helps me be able to sleep a little better at night, knowing that I said the thing. Because very in my 20s, there were some relationships that I had, some of those very close friendships that you create in your 20s where you're pretty sure you're going to be friends forever. That right, like relationships in your 20s do blow up. And some of them blew up in really ugly ways. And and I felt and carried for a long time guilt around some of those relationships and some of the things that happened to my friends that I could see the danger or I could see the challenge and I didn't say anything. So for a long time then I lived with the like see something, say something kind of philosophy and I don't know that that's completely gone. I think that's still just an always present part of me.
Right.
But now I can do see something, say something, let it go, right? Or figure out where my choices are
Right.
in this relationship
And you
now,
have more
and
discernment
not
now.
right, not see something, say something, and worry over here, or try and get them to do the thing that I think they should do, and um, like there's a way to be able to let it go. So for me, that's taken a lot of strength. Um, I'm in a new phase of life, right? I've been a very independent lady for a long time now. And actually, what I'm working on right now with the internal family system coaching is my ability to receive and my ability, like, that's a place where I feel like that muscle, that strength is a little weak or is a little still connected to too many other things. So specifically working on building strength and resilience around my ability to ask and to receive with boundaries and with best of intentions and all of those things. So for me, strength is something that applies a lot of places, and it's connected to growth. I think the only time that we stop, right? The I think it's done when they put the dirt on me at the end.
That is true. Yeah. So you're a lifelong learner,
Yeah.
completely a lifelong learner. And then, yeah. And as Gen X women, I think we were taught because our parents came through where women didn't have a lot of opportunities. And so it was up to us to show how bold and strong and independent and awesome women are. And we had to show strength. And,
Yes.
it's funny because, like, my mother, she grew up where her choices, and it's funny because she had two sisters and all three of them did the same jobs. You had choice nurse or teacher.
Yep.
And you see these Gen X women who are there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there because we're like, we can be anything we want. But what do I want to do? And that's where I've struggled is like I've done a lot of everything. Just
Yeah.
it sounds like you have too.
Yep.
Um,
Absolutely.
you know,
And I think I have another coach friend, Olivia Norton, who has some really interesting philosophies on Gen X women. And one of the things that she said is she talked about this inner duality of the Gen X woman, where exactly like you said, we were taught, told, inundated with messages, both from our moms and aunties, but also from like all of the culture and, like the movies Working Girl and, 9 to 5 and all of those things, right? That we could do it. We could do anything, right? We should.
yes,
And so here we are given all of this what we should do. And at the same time, we were being raised to be really good wives and mommies, just like our boomer wives and mommy parents.
yeah,
So internally, there is this I have to be, and the skills I have, the knowing I have is how to be a really good wife and mommy. And right, and don't fail there. And make sure you go and do and take advantage of and you're right, climb the ladder and achieve. And so there's this inner duality that's really unsettling, and it just churns. It churns. It feels a lot
yes,
like
yeah.
just stirring stuff up all the time internally for a lot of us of this generation.
Yeah, I haven't heard it stated exactly like the way, and it really nails it on the head. Is it yes?
Yeah.
And now we're in our 40s and 50s, and we're trying. Okay, now we're trying to figure out. Oh, wait, we tried to have it all, we struggled having it all, and now what do we really want?
Well, right, because I think that there's more awareness that we're getting, and right, and it's a developmental stage. But I think that the other thing that I see frequently is, similar to my circumstances, um, in the trying to have it all, do it all, be it all, eh, a lot of our relationships didn't work. I'm a divorced woman, and it was not beautiful. It was not, you hear that like, oh, we're still friends. Oh, like I'm blocked on everything. And and he's blocked on everything. Like we are not friends. It was ugly and hurtful and probably way too long in the ending of it because of that be a good wife and mommy.
Mm-hmm.
Be a good wife and mommy. And I just tried so long and so many ways to fix the problem, change who I was, change who he was, change so many things. And you know what? Weird, it didn't work.
Yeah, I know. Go figure.
Right,
You know.
exactly. Um, and then I had to glean the lessons from that, and now we're hitting this knowingness of, oh, I can't change who he is or who my partners are or who the people around me are, and I get to choose who I am. Huh. Okay. And it's kind of I for a lot of our generation and for myself personally, it's been um a whole like it's been a whole process
Oh,
that I
yeah,
can't
I
say is
hear
always the
you.
most pleasant process, but it is exciting now to kind of come out on the other side and to come out with some knowledge and expertise and there's still things that I'm working on and still, new ways of looking at life and love and relationships that I'm still working to grow into. But but yeah, I think that a lot of us have had similar stories of that duality of what we were told and what we were shown and all of that causing some really tumultuous relationships and really tumultuous midlife processes because we can't live into both of them.
Exactly. Yes, it's said perfectly, perfectly. Now, to switch gears just a little bit,
Sure.
who do you serve? And you're a coach, and you've developed this really cool formula. Who do you serve?
Yeah.
You serve people
So
like
right,
me? Do you serve solopreneurs or just women looking for answers in life?
yeah. I used to do life coaching. I don't do life coaching anymore. What I realized was, with what I had my hands on right now, by helping coaches, healers, helpers, right? So that is a broad, right? I've worked with everybody from therapist to hypnotherapist, coaches, healers, helpers, to be able to really connect with their clients in a unique way, in a way that actually gets them paid in business, but also gets their clients the help that the client didn't know right like even existed. I can make a bigger impact by doing that. I can make a bigger impact by helping coaches, healers, helpers with their marketing, with their messaging, attract those clients, know what they uniquely do, and pull out and identify the work that only they can do. I can make a way bigger impact there than I could in doing life coaching myself. So that's who I serve and kind of how I'm serving them right now. The majority of my clients fall into one of two categories, either brand new coaches, and I use coaches again as that broad spectrum word, but brand new coaches who are they've got their certification, they've got their life experience, but they don't have any idea how to get those clients. And we start putting together some preliminary marketing branding and do some teaching and educating about how to say the right words, because that's frequently what it is we're nobody cares that you're an NLP coach. And nobody really cares, right? I'm not saying you are, but I'm
No, no,
saying,
no.
right,
I
there's
get it.
coaches
No,
out
you're
there,
right. It,
right? And nobody cares that I'm the creator of the Endotype Formula in meeting me at a networking event. So, in meeting me at a networking event, what I tell people all the time is, "Hi, I get coaches paid." That's something that I find my clients care about.
uh,
So we have to
yes. And
learn to use the right words there.
I think a lot of my listeners, like I say, this is still a new podcast, but I'm pretty sure a lot of my new listeners are going to be a lot like me. I'm a new coach. I
Mhm.
haven't been paid. So, what would be the first way to be able to work with you? Where would I
Yeah.
go?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thanks. Um, the first step that I always think, uh, so there's a couple of things that you can do depending on where you're at. Coaches are heavily marketed to, you don't know me, you don't need to trust me until we can build trust in me.
Mhm.
So I invite people to go take the Endotype Formula quiz. If they go to Endotype,
And I will
Endotype,
link it in the show notes for
yep,
sure.
yep,
For sure.
endotype.com. You can take the 4 question assessment. And in that assessment, when you find your endotype, there's a little section that talks about your coaching superpower. And a little bit of information about your brand type. Um, know that we can dial in a lot more on those two things. But in terms of understanding your coaching superpower, then you look at, okay, I really want to serve parents. I really want to serve moms, and I really want to help with this specific problem. Here's your coaching superpower. So, how does that coaching superpower, the thing that you do without even knowing that you're doing it, it's so natural, it's like breathing to you. How does that then affect this work that you want to do? So, realizing that and starting that exploration process, totally free for you to be able to take the quiz and very valuable. Then the next step is I offer usually a couple times a year a workshop called Are You a Copycat Coach? I have another session, depending on when this drops, but I have a session that's coming out towards the end of October.
Okay.
Or I have a course that's on my website called Stop Calling Yourself a Coach and Start Telling People What You Really Do. And both of those help you start developing your very clear what I do statement. Because my philosophy is if in 30 seconds to a minute, you can explain what you do with what my mom calls real human words. She at one point we were watching something and I said, "Oh, that's a coach talking," because it was this person who was all like, "Hey, I'm really grounding in nature right now, and I am sitting here, right, like envisioning the future and right." It was coachy speak. And
Yeah.
my mom said, "How do you know that person's a coach?" And I said, "Well, that's the way coaches talk." And she said, "Laura, those aren't real human words." She goes, "I have no idea what that person just said." And so in coach world, we hang out with other coaches and we get
Yes,
to
yeah.
talk in our coach language. But when we go into networking, when we go out on social media, when we go into women events or whatever it is, wherever we're trying to meet our clients, we have to stop talking coachy language and we have to start talking with real human words
Oh, I love
and
that.
talk about the problem we actually fix because that's the thing our clients know. They know today they woke up with a problem, and it's our job to figure out how they describe that problem so we can speak to it in their language so that they come into our program and we can fix it with our tools. So both my workshop and that course is a beautiful first step. I have a podcast called Raving Coaches where we talk about the business of coaching every week. And right, and if there's alignment, if what I say makes sense in the way that I say it, then setting up a conversation call and seeing what a next step could be as far as branding, messaging, and strategy would totally make sense. But I don't expect anybody to enter into one of my programs without trusting me first. So I try and give people a lot of opportunities to build that trust because there's right coaches coaches are like delicious little gazelles on the business savannah, and there's all these predatory lion-like marketers that are just waiting to
Oh
grab
my
you.
gosh. And I have been guilty of signing up for, oh, my 5-day challenge. And then it's like
Yes.
1 day of info and then 4 days of sales pitches.
Yes, yes. Just follow my system. See,
Yeah.
that's the thing. I don't want coaches, don't follow anyone else's system, methodology, blueprint. What are all these words that are super buzzwords right now in the
Yep.
marketing
Yep.
industry?
Blueprint. I think I just went through like a class that had a blueprint for customer getting new clients and a new client
Yes.
blueprint. Like,
You can learn something from all of those
exactly.
experts, but someone else's blueprint will not build you your business because you have a unique endotype design. You have unique lived experience. You have a unique set of skills that you've developed as a coach. And your formula for business has to include all of those and has to be built around all of those. So there's no one size fits all approach that's ever going to work. And you might get some clients, but you might find, like I did in my gym, that I completely burnt out in the process of getting and serving those clients. How are we going to build a business that works for you?
I love this. I love that we went from kind of our little convo about our personal lives and then um there's a fun way and I will link everything in the show notes of ways to contact you. The I know that through one of our networking things I've taken the endotype quiz, but I need to do it again and actually read what it said.
Oh, yeah,
So
fabulous.
yes, so
Yeah.
I need to do that, and but I'm excited, and so we will link all of this stuff in the show notes. And is there anything else that you would want listeners to take away from this conversation?
My biggest desire, my biggest philosophy in life is like be exactly who you are, and you have that permission to be exactly who you are. No shrinking, hiding, not stepping into it, playing small, and no blustering or being bigger than you are, right? I have to be more professional,
Interesting.
I have to be more important, I have to, right? Puffing. When you can find exactly who you are and then be that, there's a whole lot of peace and joy and alignment with the work that you're here to do and the people you're here to do it with that comes from that space. So find that space, friends.
Oh, that was a beautiful way to end this. And Laura, I just wanted to thank you so much for spending this time with me today. And I'm super excited because, as you know, it's a new podcast. And I think this is exactly the kind of conversation that I wanted to have on this podcast to
That's so
to
wonderful.
serve people and actually women like me. So,
Well, thank you for having me on as one of your first guests.
of
I can't
course.
wait to see where this journey takes you and
Thank
all the
you.
people that are served through these conversations.
Yeah.
You're doing an awesome thing, Lisa.
Thank you so much and enjoy your free afternoon. So get outside,
Thank
enjoy.
you.
I don't know if
Yeah.
Wisconsin is as beautiful as Colorado is right now, but I think I'm going to go head outside in Colorado as well
Oh,
because
yeah.
Wisconsin has some yucky winters, just like Colorado's winters are a little. They're colder but less wet than Wisconsin, so I'm enjoying the
Exactly.
weather now before winter comes.
Yay.
So,
Yay. Yeah, the convertible is coming out this afternoon. So
oh
I'll
my
see
gosh,
you
how
out there on the
exciting!
road.
Okay, well, you have a wonderful weekend and love and
Awesome.
light to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to The Edge of the Unknown. If this episode resonated with you, please take a moment to rate and review the podcast. It will help more people find my stories. If you know someone who needs to hear it, please share it with them. And if you have a story of resilience, transformation, or reinvention that you would like to share, I would love to hear from you. Whether you are navigating a major life transition or just want to talk about what's next, I am here to support you. Until next time, remember, you are stronger than you think, and your next chapter is waiting.